right, good morning, everybody. Morning. Welcome to Horizons. It's just incredible to see all of you here. Thank you so much for coming. I think you have a wonderful 2 days ahead of you, and it's my pleasure to kick us off. You're truly an amazing group that's gathered here. In this room, we have educators and workforce professionals. We have employers. We have philanthropists, we have investors, we have policymakers, and it's an incredibly diverse group. And whether that be race or gender or ideology, it's something we should truly celebrate and leverage. And there's also a strong common thread that connects all of us in this room, and that's our shared dedication to equitable opportunities for our nation's learners and workers. And so think about it. You're surrounded by 1,500 plus people who share that common goal. And I think that is really cool. And to me, that's what makes Horizons so special. It's really a rare opportunity for you to connect outside of your day-to-day work and to reflect on how you can use your leadership to drive change. So I encourage you to step away from your inboxes and your to-do lists. I know that's hard to do, but it's important. This is really your chance to think big, without limits. And as a field, we're making progress against some big problems. The US continues to have a very low unemployment rate, just 3.7%, and over 10 million jobs available across the country. But these hopeful numbers are masking many troubling realities, and I'll give you 3 examples. One example is youth unemployment. While the national unemployment rate for young people is actually the lowest it's been in 60 years, in New York City, for example, the rate was recently 18%. And the rate for young adult Asians in New York City was as high as 23%. Another troubling reality is that racial disparities persist. Black household wealth is still 70% below that of non-black households. 70% lower. And black individuals earn less than one-third less than white individuals over the course of their lifetime. 1/3 less. And here's the third, which is low pay. 21 million US workers make less than $15 an hour. So while it's true that unemployment is down and there's more US workers in jobs, there's also a big problem. And that's too many of these jobs are not quality jobs. And the people who are shut out of quality jobs are too often people of color and other workers who face systemic barriers to advancement. According to our analysis, there are 92 million adults in our country that are currently shut out of quality jobs and the chance for a better life. So let me show you what I mean. We're going to start the morning with some math, so you gotta get ready. There's 164 million adults in the adult labor force today, so 160 million. Of that total, there are 130 million adults who are facing systemic barriers to advancement. That's depicted by the orange dots here. And that includes most people of color, most women, anyone without a 4-year college degree, and anyone with a criminal record. Out of these 130 million, just 38 million have quality jobs. Those are the blue dots. And so that leaves 92 million. We see this as our collective opportunity to help more of these 92 million workers secure quality jobs. And what do we mean when we say quality job? It's not just access to a living wage and basic benefits. A quality job also provides flexibility, autonomy, stability, and equitable opportunities for advancement. And we want that for many more workers. And so we're embracing a bold new goal. We want to double the numbers of these workers with quality jobs. In 10 years, 75 million people facing systemic barriers to advancement will work in quality jobs. And so this is our new North Star. I'm going to say it again. 10 million, in 10 years, 75 million people facing systemic barriers to advancement will work in quality jobs. So I know that this is a really bold goal. It's going to take bold thinking and big swings, and that none of us can get there alone. We need to work together to transform our nation's systems so that every individual, regardless of background, can advance economically. Despite the efforts of so many dedicated professionals like each and every one of us in this room, our current systems are inequitable. They're disconnected, and they're really hard to navigate. And this isn't a new issue. 40 years ago, JFF was founded to address the urgent needs for our nation's education and workforce systems to keep pace with labor market trends. But in many ways, those systems that were already running on tracks that were becoming outdated in 1983 are still running on those same outdated tracks now in 2023. Our education and workforce systems are broken. And incremental change just isn't enough. And incremental change might be what's politically plausible most of the time, and I certainly understand that, but it isn't going to lead to the type of impact that we all believe is needed and that we all want to see. So I'm committing my organization to this bold goal, and I hope that all of you will join us. How are we going to pull this off, though? That's a good question. So I'm going to outline 4 imperatives. The first is seizing the next frontier. So personally, I believe technology has the greatest potential to help us achieve our North Star. And AI, artificial intelligence, is the technology with the most potential. Sundar Pichai, the CEO of Alphabet, said, "AI is something more profound than electricity or fire." AI is going to change everything in our collective wheelhouse. The way people learn, the jobs they'll get, the work they'll do, and the way that they acquire new skills to stay relevant. The impact of AI is going to be deep, it's going to come fast, and this is just the beginning. Learners and workers, they already understand this. 2 weeks ago, we surveyed more than 2,200 of them. Probably not surprisingly, more than half believe that they'll need to upgrade their skills because of AI in the next 5 years, 58%. And that percentage was even higher if you just look at the younger generations in the labor force. But really surprising to me was that 88% don't trust their employers to help them understand AI. It's going to be critical to understand how AI impacts work and workers. And so today, I am super excited to announce JFF's new Center for Artificial Intelligence and the Future of Work. With this center, we're going to take a hard look at the reasons to be concerned, the threats to jobs, the biases that AI can have, but on balance, we are optimistic about AI. We see astonishing opportunities for personalized learning, for faster training and upskilling, and we see AI's potential to lift millions more workers into quality jobs. This center is going to help us all understand the impact of AI on work and workers. We're going to use the center to convene our partners and stakeholders, to develop insights and share best practices, to test new approaches, and to incubate new products and services. And of course, AI is not the only technology that's going to change things and provide opportunity. Virtual reality is another great example. Last month, I had an opportunity to moderate a Future Work Roundtable that was hosted by our partners at Meta. And one of the companies that was highlighted there was Embodied Labs. They're one of our JFF Ventures portfolio companies. Their platform uses virtual reality to let caregivers experience cognitive, auditory, or vision loss, helping them empathize with the people that they serve. And you get to check that out in the VR Activation Zone for yourself. Hosted by Meta, and Embodied Labs is one of the companies that's there. So this is a great example of how we can harness technology to prepare learners and workers for quality jobs. The second imperative is activating equity. We know that there are significant achievement gaps, employment gaps, and wealth gaps in this country. Last week, our nation lost a leading voice on these issues, William Spriggs. He was a chief economist at the AFL-CIO, a longtime professor at Howard University, and a former Obama administration official. Throughout his distinguished career, Dr. Spriggs was an outspoken advocate for black workers, and he frequently called out his fellow economists for glossing over racial disparities in the labor market. As Dr. Spriggs underscored in his work, we have so much more work to do to dismantle labor market inequality and occupational segregation. And we know that just doing more of the same isn't going to fix these problems. It's going to take intentional action to put millions more workers into quality jobs. I'm going to give you two specific examples. The first is black workers in tech. They remain significantly underrepresented. Black workers make up 12% of the US workforce, but only 8% of employees in tech jobs. Technology jobs in data science, engineering, cybersecurity, and software development, they're expected to grow 14% in the next decade. But black talent in those roles is expected to grow only 8% in the same period. We wanted to know how to close these gaps. So JFF surveyed black learners and workers and found that they would be more interested in pursuing jobs in the technology sector if they had a better understanding of the pathways to those jobs, if they had access to professional networks, and if they had access to more academic and career services. The second example I want to share is around gender equity in apprenticeship. It's terrific to see the number of registered apprenticeships continue to rise across the country, but a significant pay gap exists. Male apprentices consistently earn nearly twice as much as their female counterparts. I'll give you an example from youth apprenticeship programs. The top occupation for women in these programs, pharmacy tech, pays $12 an hour, while the top occupation for men, electrician, pays $26 an hour. By making sure that women have access to high-wage occupations and by increasing the percent of black workers in tech, we can drive more equity in the workforce. A third way to advance workers into good jobs is to invest in human potential. That means we need to focus on the skills and the attributes that an individual brings to the table rather than bureaucratic gatekeeping. A big barrier to quality jobs is the requirement for a 4-year degree. Last year, the state of Maryland formally removed college degree requirements from state jobs. And last month, I had an opportunity to talk with former Maryland Governor Larry Hogan, and he shared with me that since they made that change, there's been a 41% increase in hires of workers without a 4-year degree in Maryland. And he also told me that the Tear the Paper Ceiling campaign that was launched by our good friends at Opportunity at Work on this stage last year was really instrumental in Maryland's decision. And you'll get to hear from Governor Hogan himself tomorrow. Since Maryland's announcement, 11 other states have followed suit, the most recent being Virginia just a few weeks ago. This is really a great example of a movement that has strong bipartisan support, just something I think that we need more of for sure. And in total, almost 100,000 jobs have been opened up across these states in the past year. Another population that faces stiff barriers to quality jobs are individuals who have been impacted by the justice system. Hudson Link is an example of a program that offers college education, life skills training, and reentry support to individuals with records. Hudson Link itself is run by formerly incarcerated individuals. They've brought 1,500 students through this program. 86% of them end up working in the social services. And get this, their recidivism rate is just 2% compared to more than 40% nationally. It's a great example of a program that is truly changing lives. So when we meet people where they are, when there's less gatekeeping and more focus on skills and potential, deserving candidates get quality jobs. The last imperative is that we redesign the systems that prepare our workers and learners for the jobs of tomorrow. There are great examples of this both on the public sector side and the private sector. On the private sector side, IBM's Skills Build platform is a wonderful example. So is Google's career certificates. These certificates enable individuals without a 4-year college degree to get the skills they need to land good jobs in the IT sector. The program partners with over 200 nonprofits, with over 400 educational institutions to deliver these certificates. And they're available in 6 tech fields, ranging from UX design to cybersecurity. If you look across those 6 fields, there are over 2.5 million jobs available with a median salary of $72,000 a year. The program partners with over 150 employers, such as American Express, Deloitte, Walmart, Verizon, to put candidates, certificate graduates, into these jobs. Over 150,000 learners have graduated from the program. 75% report a positive outcome, like a new job, a promotion, or a raise, and 55% of them identify as workers of color. On the public sector side, the college and career pathways movement is really getting great attention and gaining a lot of momentum, which is terrific to see. These are pathways that prepare young people for the world of work and post-secondary education by combining academic and work-based learning and by bringing early college experiences into the high school. A shining example is the state of Delaware. Working with the Rodell Foundation, they've reached a point of where 60% of their public high school students are on such a pathway. These 4 imperatives can put millions more workers in good jobs. And these early successes, be it Google, Delaware, Hudson Link, they are all great starts. And I am super proud that JFF has had a role to play across many of these. But yet, these are still modest compared to what is needed to put 75 million people facing systemic barriers to advancement in quality jobs. So what do we need to do, all of us here? We need to think big. We need more solutions that are operating at scale. We need new types of partnerships and funding models, and we need to leverage our collective superpowers. I hope that in the next 2 days that you'll be curious, that you're going to question your limiting assumptions, and that you're going to reimagine what's possible without limits. We are so grateful to so many people for making this event possible. For example, our many sponsors. At the top of our list is our premier sponsor, American Student Assistance, or ASA. I really want to give a big shout out to Jean Eddy and her team, who are fantastic partners for us at JFF. Our impact sponsors, Ares, JP Morgan Chase, Ascendium, and Walmart, and the more than 40 other sponsors who make Horizons possible. I also want to recognize a group of young contributors, the Horizons Ambassadors. I think they're right over here, right? A little shout out. They have contributed to the planning process for this event and will be active in the conversations over the next 2 days. So if you see them, I hope you'll thank them for their input. And now, it's my pleasure to kick off our main stage conversations by sharing a Without Limits message from Horizons ambassadors Sierra Gaines and Dayanara Rocha Castillo. So let's take a look.
I would ask to start off with being honest with yourself before we start this conversation. Don't jam your point across. Just listen with a genuine ear and an open heart.
Now ask yourself this question. Did you like the education system that you grew up in? Think about the young people that don't have the same resources or the background as you, and see what we could implement to schools or eliminate from schools to get them in career pathways that aren't really known to young people.
My name is Dainara Rocha Castillo. I am a first year at Brigham Young University. So I'm currently a pre-business major with an emphasis in finance. My mom worked at a trophy factory for the last 20-odd years, and during COVID, my mom got laid off, and that was pretty rough because she was there for so long. That was all that she knew. When I chose my major, I wanted something that was financially stable and that coming out undergraduate, I'd have a livable wage. I knew if I did a humanities major, my salary after undergraduate would not be as high if I did a STEM major or finance major.
My name is Sierra Gaines. I go to school at Dillon University. I am currently a junior. I am majoring in psychology and minoring in social work. Outside of being a student, I have 2 jobs. I work for the Re-Engagement Center. I do 35 hours there full time, and then I work for Domino's Pizza. I work 20 hours there. I actually came in as a chem major, minoring in biology. I chose chemistry because I thought it would make me a lot of money. But I discovered that that wasn't in my cards. Chemistry just wasn't for me. It wasn't something I had passion for. It wasn't something I could see myself doing for a lifetime. It was just something that I wanted to do to get money as soon as I got my degree.
My hope for future students is for them not to feel pressured in this society that we're pushing for a shoe that will not fit for everyone.
You want to follow me to the bank? For the young people that I support, I just wish that they find prosperity wherever that may lie for them, whatever that looks like to them.
Without limits means to me, there's nothing bigger that we can't do. We need more options. Not everyone wants to go to college. Not everyone wants to spend thousands of dollars essentially being a student that just to not even graduate or not even use the degree they have.
Without limits mean breaking free of that box. You are your own person now. You have to stop the restrictions and the barriers placed on you by society and take your career and your dreams at your own pace and your own way.
I think this is why this conference is so important, because we're bringing together everyone from everywhere in this country, every walks of life, and bring them together into one room and letting them know we have to make action happen now.